Lady Hindegard Bailey, the only daughter of Marquis Bailey, sitting by the big table in the dark night. Hindegard opened her wide eyes and thought, "All right, okay, let us get started." Right after, she unfolded a large piece of fabric onto the table. First, she draped the fabric to measure, marking it carefully with chalk. Then she cut with precision, continuously drawing chalk lines on the fabric. She did the same with the other pieces, her stitches perfect and skillful, carefully sewing them together. After a while, Hindegard finished her work, gently touching the final product and exclaiming, "Amazing, all done. Mom, I'm home." Inside the big house, the Marchioness Bailey smiled happily as soon as she saw Hindegard and asked, "Hilda, you are back, are not you?" Hindegard stepped closer, lovingly holding her mother's arm and asked, "Han, how are you feeling today?" The Marchioness smiled back warmly. "Pretty good. My dear, it is so lively outside. Do you know what is going on?" Hindegard bent down to kiss her mother's cheek lightly and replied, "The founding ceremony is coming soon. Everyone's busy getting ready for the big day." That made her pause for a moment. Has it really come to this time of year already? Suddenly, the Marchioness looked a bit sad and lifted Hindegard's hand, making her frown. Hindegard quickly hid her hand behind her back, smiling awkwardly. "It is nothing. The tailor keeps begging me to do something for them. They insist it has to be me. You know how good I am." Seeing her avoid the topic, the Marchioness spoke up, making Hindegard stop. "We should start arranging your marriage, should not we? You can teach us keep sewing and running the household. That one tea get you anywhere. Next year, you will be of marriageable age to inherit the title. You have to get married." The Marchioness' words made Hindegard hesitate. After a moment, she smiled softly at her mother and said, "I will try my best. It is time for your medicine now. You have to get better so we can enjoy the founding ceremony together. We can eat delicious food and soak in the festival atmosphere." The Marchioness looked at Hindegard's expression and did not say more. She smiled sad, looking at her daughter. Then she gently placed her hand over Hindegard and comforted her. "All right, let us face it together." After leaving the room, Hindegard leaned against the door, feeling a bit down, thinking, "Mom is not feeling well. I wish I could buy better medicine for her. I am Hindegard Bailey, now the only daughter of the Bailey family, but in my previous life, I lived in Korea. Growing up in a family with a long tradition of tailoring through generations." Memories flooded back. Her grandmother's warm voice echoed, "Starting today, you will learn how to sew." Little Hindegard innocently called out, "Grandma." Thanks to her strict training, she scolded gently, "Do not cut the fabric like that." Back then, Hindegard could only cry. It hurt so much. "Grandma, I started gaining sewing skills, but I kept making Grandma angry. You need to stitch double lines, not single." She held up a piece of fabric aggressively and said, "Look, I did it exactly like this, but by then I was stubborn and decided to major in Western fashion. So I left home, waving goodbye with my hat, saying I am going to make Western clothes." That made Grandma furious, calling me a traitor. I spent all my time arguing with her at school, over the phone. She yelled, "Come home now," but I stubbornly replied, "We hardly got to talk before I returned home. Who would be thought I would die in an accident? I thought that was the end of my life, but my life continued when I was reborn into the Bailey family here. I did not know why I was reincarnated with all my past memories intact." Hindegard paused thoughtfully and turned to go inside. "But being born here is truly a blessing. Whoa, my family is amazing. They love me so much, and I love them too. If there is one thing missing, it is money. Our family is not very wealthy." She stared at the faded painting on the wall and thought, "I will fix it with a handmade tapestry. I fixed the water stain in my room myself. But it is better than Mom finding out and getting upset. Sometimes I wonder if my family were middle class. Maybe I would still be sitting here sewing. If Dad were alive, maybe things might be better. Maybe Mom's illness would not have gotten so bad." After a moment, Hindegard snapped back to reality. She comforted herself quietly. "Enough negativity. That is enough. Time to deliver the orders." Lady Shirley promised she would pay well this time, even though business was bad. She happily danced around. "Bonus! Bonus! I am sure things will change soon." Night was falling. The sky was scattered with drifting clouds. Inside a large building, Zerfin held a clipboard in his hand. Raymond stood beside him, arms crossed and a bit annoyed. He frowned and asked, "Is this the last one?" Zerfin quickly replied, "Yes, this is the final clothing order." Raymond's eyes narrowed as he stared down at the list. He gently picked up a glove and asked, "Which shop is this from?" Zerfin flipped through the files and answered, "It is from the shop run by Merce Sully." After receiving the bonus, Hindegard happily smiled. thinking, that is a ton of bonus money. I can finally give the servants a raise. Back to Zerfin, he hurriedly reported. It is from the Bailey family's daughter. Hearing that name, Raymond fell silent. Pondering, the Bailey daughter. Ho, bring the invitation card after his command. The room suddenly fell silent. Raymond turned and gazed at the high sky through the window. He smiled softly, then glanced back and told Zerfin, make sure the sender's name is Baron Vager. Hildegard left work on a bright, sunny day. She smiled, clutching her purse. Thinking, I thought doubling the base pay was a lot, but it is actually twice that. Shirley happily handed her the money, saying, this is a large order and it is going to someone important, so I am really nervous. Luckily, thanks to the young lady. Hildegard thought, I never imagined my work would reach such high-class hands, as long as I get paid well. Hildegard laughed excitedly. I can finally give Lucy and the butler a generous bonus. Suddenly, she looked up, seeing something that made her wide-eyed and regretful the more she stared. When it comes to classic-style clothing, people usually picture luxurious dresses decorated with pleats and zins. But in this world, those decorative accessories and design patterns have not arrived yet. Basically, there is just one kind of outfit. Wait, patterns usually relate to the fabric used on the clothes, and there are countless different designs. Hildegard closed her eyes and started calculating. Without measuring tapes, she has to lay the fabric directly on the body to sew, so the finished product might not fit perfectly. There is no sewing machine either. The weaving technology is outdated, and finding good fabric is super hard. Even if I want to create exclusive patterns myself, it would have to be on a large scale, and that is way too expensive. I have the skills, so why can't it happen? Hildegard's face flushed as she sighed. It is such a shame. Pattern design is what I am best at, standing under the warm sunlight. She silently regretted, I want to make beautiful clothes. A few days later, while Hildegard was in her sewing room, a panicked voice called out, Miss, it is here. It is here, said Lucy. The maid. Hildegard turned to her, confused. What is here? Lucy, out of breath and stammering, said, but what were you doing just now? Hildegard smiled and pointed into the distance. I was making a rug to hang over there. A simple design. Lucy gasped. Oh, the one you made last time is hanging in the hall, where the painting's peeling off. Now's not the time for that, Hildegard gently asked, seeing how flustered Lucy was. What is the urgent news? After calming down, she picked up an envelope and handed it to Hildegard, saying it was an invitation. Inside the envelope, it said, I am really eager to invite Miss Bailey with her beautiful hands to enjoy afternoon tea. From Baron Jimon. She smiled and said, this is the invitation to the tea party. Hildegard curiously opened the envelope and wondered, who is this Baron Jimon? She felt a bit confused, and more importantly, the part about her having beautiful hands could not be true. Lucy suddenly exclaimed from beside her, I know who that is. Hildegard turned to ask, you do? Lucy quickly explained that Jimon had gone traveling before the founding ceremony, and there were rumors he was extremely handsome. He was so wealthy that recently he even donated medicine and food to the poorest areas. He really is amazing, Miss, Lucy added, and Hildegard just nodded quietly. Yeah, probably. Sounds like a perfect guy. Seeing her start sewing again, Lucy sighed in frustration. Then she tried calling out to her, Miss, you have got the invitation, so why did not you go? It has been a long time since you received a tea party invite. You do not need to give us any extra bonuses for the founding ceremony. Use that money to buy yourself a dress. Hildegard immediately refused. I can't do that. I still have so much work. Lucy kept trying to persuade her. But didn't the lady say you should start looking for a marriage match? Besides, this time you can sew your own dress. A beautiful dress, too. Her words hit Hildegard right in the heart, and she blinked in surprise. Maybe this time I will try what you said, Hildegard said. Lucy clasped her hands excitedly. Awesome. I will find you a gorgeous hair accessory. Just watch. Hildegard smiled and nodded. All right. I am counting on you. After all, most of the valuable jewelry has already been sold. After a while, the room's door closed, and the space returned to its peaceful silence. Hildegard sat alone by the sewing table, lost in thought. Marriage. She began recalling her mother's words. Your name was chosen so you could find your own happiness. Your great-aunt was the daughter of a successful engineer who married for love. That is why your parents wanted you to carry on her name. Hildegard, you will definitely live happily. And you will meet someone even better than your father. Thinking of this, Hildegard froze. Honestly, she would never dreamed of marriage. Not even in her past life, but maybe this time. She would do it just for the chance to sew her own dress. On the meeting day, the door slowly opened. Hildegard wore a beautiful dress she would sew herself. Curtsying gracefully, her eyes shone with happiness as she looked up, walking through the yard. Hildegard glanced around thoughtfully. So fancy and elegant, I just can't stop staring. Even my house can compare. Maybe it is about the same size. Suddenly, a voice called out, "Please wait a moment." Hildegard felt confused, thinking, didn't Jimon say he would meet me in the parlor? It turned out Jimon was slowly approaching her. His eyes briefly showed a hint of sadness before narrowing. Hildegard startled, secretly thinking, oh wow, Jimon is seriously handsome. Can normal people really look like that? His expression was a bit cold, almost intimidating. While she was still daydreaming, Jimon spoke first. Thank you for accepting my invitation. I have been waiting for you. Miss Bailey. Hildegard seemed to drift into her own world, thinking, even his voice sounds crazy good. Can I handle this afternoon tea? The two of them walked inside together. Jimon politely extended his hand. I have tried to make everything as comfortable as possible, but it has been a long time since I hosted an event like this, so there might be some flaws. Please tell me if anything makes you uncomfortable, even a little. Hildegard froze and stammered, yes. Of course, in her mind, she was actually thinking, your looks are the biggest problem here, way too much. I can say that out loud. I have seen all kinds of good-looking guys before, on TV and online, but a face like this, I am seriously worried. Seeing her a bit stunned, Raymond quickly spoke up. She looked a little flustered, and Hildegard hurriedly denied it. Oh no, nothing at all. Still, he politely apologized. Please forgive my rudeness. I was just too eager to meet you. Even if a little early, she lowered her head worriedly and replied, okay, Count. Suddenly, something caught Hildegard's attention right in front of her. She stared blankly at the painting hanging on the wall. Hildegard's face flushed as she quietly admired, oh, these intricate, delicate patterns. Driven by curiosity, she quickly lifted her skirt and walked over to it, standing before the painting. Hildegard could not help but praise again. They are really crafted so skillfully. From behind, Raymond approached and asked, do you like it? If they please you that much, I would like to give it to you as a gift. Hearing that, Hildegard immediately became flustered and replied, it is not like that. I just think it is beautiful. I do not want to own it. Then she turned away, telling herself she must have stared too long without realizing it. Hildegard tried to find something to talk about, but noticed no one else had arrived yet. Could it be I came too early? She wondered. Hearing this, he quickly explained, no one else will be coming. That made Hildegard jump, exclaiming, really? Raymond calmly looked at her and said, I only wanted to meet you, Miss Bailey. That is why I sent the invitation. After a while, they sat opposite each other at the tea table. Raymond smiled warmly and asked, would you like some tea? It will help you calm down, he added. Hildegard blushed slightly, glanced away, then nodded. Yes, please. She reached out and picked up the warm cup of tea on the table. Taking a sip, Hildegard could not help but feel amazed inside. Just as she expected, it was jade luck tea. She recognized it by its unique aroma. Somehow, it felt incredibly familiar. Raymond had been watching her reactions the whole time. After a brief pause, he asked, the tea seems to suit your taste. I was worried about how to treat you, he continued. So I used tea leaves from a faraway place to offer you something special. Hildegard felt touched and whispered, you are unbelievably kind. Then, carefully, she added, I do not know if you might be mistaken about something. Could it be you confused me with another count's daughter? Raymond teased. I sent the invitation to Miss Hildegard Bailey, the count's daughter. Bailey. Did you write my name wrong? Hildegard shyly looked away. That is me. As she reached for a pastry, Raymond suddenly said, making her tremble, I probably should have sent a portrait along with the invitation. The atmosphere went silent as the pastry slipped from her hand onto the floor. Raymond, unfazed, kindly said, okay, I will get you another. Don't you worry about it. Hildegard was deeply confused, thinking about how in noble circles, mentioning portraits during a one-on-one meeting like this was significant. Images of nobles appeared in her mind. This is my daughter, and this is my son. Hildegard's eyes widened in fear. She would only seen that at engagement parties. Then she hesitantly asked, "If I am not mistaken, Count, between you and I mean," but before she could finish, he boldly interrupted, exactly as she had feared. "You are even more impressive than I imagined, Miss Bailey." With those delicate hands, Raymond kneeled on one knee, took her hand, and lifted it gently, looking at Hildegard earnestly. He declared, "With all my respect, I sincerely ask to marry you." This was completely beyond Hildegard's imagination. She was stunned for a long moment. Suddenly from behind, Joffrin burst in shouting, "Your Highness, the Crown Prince, it is urgent. There is a letter from the royal palace." After he finished, everything fell into an eerie silence. Hildegard's face twisted in confusion. His Highness from the royal palace. No way. At that moment, Raymond's face darkened as he stared straight at her. Hildegard stammered, "Your Highness, the Crown Prince, is everything okay?" But he quickly adjusted, flashing a smile as a few ladies fluttered around. A radiant glow seemed to surround Raymond as he tightly held her hand. Night fell, and the moon rose high, lighting up the darkness. Seeing Hildegard come in from outside, Lucy rushed over to greet her. "Miss, you are back." The party. "Miss," Hildegard casually brushed past, sniffed her, then went inside and flipped open a thick book. Crown Prince Raymond Glitchin, Baron Viral. After learning the truth, she could not help but sigh. No wonder no one recognized him. Hildegard's face showed a hint of sadness as she thought, nobles in the capital recognize him instantly. But who cares about someone from this backwater? Then she sighed deeply, leaning back. "Even I did not know." Back to that moment, Raymond bluntly said, "Well, everything's out now. What can we do? But my feelings are real. I have always longed to find someone like you." Hildegard saw him open a box and asked, "What do you mean?" Raymond took out a pair of gloves and explained, "The one I want to be betrothed to is the person who made these gloves for me." Hildegard's eyes widened in shock. It was the gloves she had just delivered. She remembered Lady Shirley's words when announcing the shipment was for someone very important. Hildegard immediately realized the palace was involved. Meanwhile, Raymond continued, "As you know, the founding ceremony is coming up. By tradition, the gloves are not made by the wearer but by their loved one or spouse. And all this time, I hoped my partner would be someone who could craft perfect gloves with her own hands. I need your skilled hands." Hildegard could only glare up at his flawless face. Honestly, that was a proposal that could move anyone. It is not that I hate sewing, but sometimes a part of me wants to escape a life stuck with fabric and needles all day. Plus, I never dreamed of marriage. I just wanted a stable, peaceful life and would marry anyone. But still, at that moment, she blurted out, "I refuse." That was completely unexpected for both Raymond and Joffrin. He turned around irritably, making Joffrin sweat nervously. Then Joffrin quickly regained composure and asked, "Miss, could you explain why?" Hildegard answered honestly, "First of all, I am not good at sewing." This stunned the two in front of her, the room falling completely silent. Hildegard continued, "And I think this is beyond my abilities." Joffrin nodded along. "Compared to you, Miss, I still have many shortcomings." She was completely flustered. "What?" He spoke sadly. "I am just a coward. How could I expect a talented lady like you? Even the palace tailors would be amazed by your skills." Hildegard helplessly waved her hand. "I did not mean that. Your Highness, I just feel someone like me is not worthy to stand beside you. Besides, I was taught that marriage is a bond based on trust and respect. But from the start, your Highness intended to deceive me. So I do not think you are the right person for me." Back in reality, Hildegard buried her head in the table, panicking. "Oh no, I have lost it. Refusing was already harsh, and I even had the nerve to say such rude things. You want to punish me, right? Punish you." A moment later, Lucy anxiously pushed open the door and asked, "Miss, are you okay? What exactly happened at the party?" Hildegard buried her face in tears. "Lucy, I am doomed." This threw her into total panic. "Why would you say that?" Now Hildegard was nothing but empty shell. His Royal Highness, the Crown Prince, at just 12 years old, killed his own uncle. Meanwhile, at his own castle, Vimon stood staring blankly out the window. Rafen approached from behind and asked, "Your Highness, what are you thinking about?" Just hearing his voice made him instantly angry. Vimon snapped angrily, "Was that on purpose?" Rafen dodged a bit, replying, "What are you talking about? I was just clarifying you called me your Highness." He had no choice but to laugh it off, saying, "Even now, looking back, I feel relieved things turned out this way." Vimon stayed silent, waiting for him to continue. His eyes darkened with sadness as he recalled Hindiget's words. I was taught that marriage is a bond built on trust and respect, but from the start. Your Highness, you deceive me. So I do not think you are the right match for me. Suddenly, Zeman smiled softly and said, I never intended to give up. If anything, I want to keep her by my side more than ever. Saying that, Vemon had no idea Hindiget was so terrified she fainted. Crown Prince Zeman Glitchin, at just 12, once killed his own uncle for treason. After sentencing, the prince released him into the town for the people to hunt freely since he survived and returned. He was eventually hanged on the city walls to die. My first visit to the capital of my parents that day truly shocked me. Hindiget, while being comforted by Lucy, sighed. It is too cruel. No matter how serious the crime, even treason, treating your own mentor and blood relatives like wild beasts is just too much. What if I refuse his proposal? Would he punish me like that? As she was lost in thought, a panicked shout rang out. Miss, are you there? She turned around. Confused. Butler. Hindiget ordered. Come in. The butler hurried inside and reported. Miss, there has been an emergency. Madam is in critical condition. Hindiget rushed to the Duke's wife's sick room, seeing the doctor stand up. She anxiously asked from behind, How is my mother? He bowed helplessly and said, Miss, I am very sorry. Hindiget froze and asked, Sorry, what do you mean? Explain. The doctor's next words drained all strength from her. With my current skills, this is the best I can do. Her condition is severe. I can only do so much. If I were a doctor from the capital, maybe I could do more than just prescribe fever medicine and hope she pulls through on her own. Lucy, standing beside the butler, blurted out, This can't be happening. She looked at Hindiget, lost and confused. Lucy tried to comfort her. Miss Hindiget lowered her head, hugging herself tightly. Enough. I want to be alone. Then she walked alone down the hallway. Hindiget hesitated, gently touching the doorframe, thinking, This is my fault. If I had pushed a little harder, I could have gotten better medicine for Mom. What if she does not make it? How am I supposed to live? Meanwhile, she remembered when she was about to leave and Vemon chased after her, calling, Miss, wait, what do you think about a contract marriage with me? Hindiget frowned, annoyed. A contract marriage? Yes, a marriage of convenience. He answered bluntly, If you had softened because of my sweet words earlier, I was ready to be a good husband. Hindiget immediately shot back, But you already failed. Then Vemon stepped closer, saying, Land, power, anything you want. I am willing to give. I will prepare a communication device so you can reach me directly. So please think it over carefully and call me whenever you are ready. Back in reality, Hindiget still stood dazed by the window. She looked so small and utterly alone. Hindiget's eyes were filled with unwavering determination as she looked up. The only reason I accepted leaving my old life behind and adapting to this new one was because of my parents. Without their love and guidance, I would probably be lost, caught between tangled memories of my past and present lives. Hindiget had made up her mind to return to her room, thinking she would never have to see him again. So she tucked the communication device deep into a drawer. Even now, I do not really understand why he made that offer, and I am not sure if my next decision is the right one. But that no longer matters. Hindiget pressed the communicator firmly with resolve, hugging it tightly and telling herself that as long as she could save her mother, it was worth it. At that moment, a magic barrier appeared right before her eyes. A flash of magical light blazed brilliantly. Slowly, a pair of legs appeared before Hindiget. It turned out to be Raymond. He had used his magic to teleport here. This surprised Hindiget greatly, and she exclaimed, Your Highness, why are you here? Isn't this just a communication device? Raymond bowed and smiled. I used magic to summon you. Please forgive my informal attire this time. You called me at this hour, so I guessed it must be urgent and came right away. Hindiget pulled her hands back nervously and bowed her head. You can call me whatever you want, but my mother is seriously ill. If you have not changed your mind, I am willing to accept your offer. Then please, bring a doctor from the capital immediately. Raymond said gently as he stepped forward, lifting her chin. Miss, are you okay? Don't worry. I will help you. Lady Bailey is a noble and also a loyal subject of this empire. If there is a way to save a citizen of this empire right in front of me, and I turn a blind eye, then I do not deserve to be crown prince. But you must keep everything you see today absolutely secret. As he finished speaking, Raymond raised his hand and summoned a burst of energy. Standing before Hindiget, he created another magic spell directly in front of her. Confused, she widened her eyes and looked at the spell. thinking. This is a magic barrier. Hindiget's eyes opened wide as she watched intently. Quickly gesturing, maybe this is when that saying really applies to life. Beforehand, Raymond had told her very clearly to keep everything she sees today absolutely secret. No sooner had he finished speaking than he created a magic barrier right before Hindiget's eyes. The royal doctor, still clutching a pillow and half asleep, was teleported here. He fell to the ground groaning in pain in his daze. Raymond wasted no time and immediately ordered, "The royal doctor has urgent business here. I will explain everything later. You go check on the patient first." That day, Raymond brought the royal doctor to her mother's room. The butler looked stunned. Miss Lucy, standing nearby, was also confused, saying that as the doctor quickly finished the diagnosis, then he turned back and said, "I need a bit more herbs." The butler quickly replied, "I will prepare them right away." Lucy immediately raised her hand, volunteering, "I will help too." And that is how everything ended up like this. Hindiget stared blankly at Raymond talking with the royal doctor ahead. That day, he did not hesitate for even a second, and immediately brought the royal doctor here. Suddenly, from the bed, Lady Bailey cried out, and Hindiget rushed over. As she slowly opened her eyes, Hindiget joyfully exclaimed, "Mother." Lady Bailey gently looked at her daughter and said, "Hilda, my dear." Hindiget suddenly felt like crying, replying softly, "Yes, mother." Then she collapsed into her mother's arms. Sobbing uncontrollably, Raymond stood beside the royal doctor, speechless. Later, in the Bailey mansion, Hindiget carefully placed a glass of water in front of Summon and said, "Sorry to keep you waiting. I just had to arrange for the nurse to take a break." "But what about the royal doctor?" Raymond quickly replied. "I have already taken him back, holding a stone that could restore anything to its original state." His words left Hindiget very confused. That stone must be some kind of magical tool. Then she gently raised her glass and continued, "Your Highness, I truly thank you for saving my mother. I am so relieved that she is getting better and her health is finally stable. I honestly do not know how to repay you," she said. Across from her, Raymond replied calmly, "Don't worry about it. I gave you the communicator so you can reach me whenever you need. As long as the lady is safe, nothing else matters." Every word he spoke made Hindegard blush deeply. Seeing her lower her gaze, Raymond hesitated before saying, "Well, I should be going." Hindegard startled. "Oh, why?" He patiently explained, "It is getting late. You should get some rest." She hesitated to stand. Feeling confused, she thought that they would discuss the contract today. Raymond turned and left, reminding her, "What I do is not for repayment. Don't misunderstand. My feelings for you have not changed. I truly need you. But if you rush your decision because of what just happened, it might be hard to turn back. So when things settle down, think it over carefully and then give me your answer." Hindegard watched his back, silently moved. In that moment, he made her heart skip a beat. She recalled Raymond's earlier actions. "Miss, can you explain why you declined? It is different from all your initial efforts to deceive me. He is trying to respect me as much as possible now. Earlier, he gently lifted my face and asked if I was okay. Don't worry. I will help you. The Countess Bailey is nobility and also a subject of this empire. If I turned a blind eye to a way to save her, I would not deserve to be crown prince. He respects my thoughts." Hindegard was deeply touched. With power enough to make anything happen with a word, she quickly said, "I am truly grateful for your kindness. However, I have made my choice. Such a high position is too much for someone like me, and it confuses me. But if your Highness still wishes to choose me, I will sincerely accept." Hindegard's words instantly caught Raymond off guard. She nervously clenched her dress as he bowed his head, silently looking at her. Then Raymond knelt on one knee and spoke. "Miss Bailey, because our first impression was not great, I can't promise to be a perfect husband. But there is one thing I must say to you. I am just an ordinary man, and from that view, you with your rare talent are far more precious than I am." Hindegard was silent, taking in his words. "Between us, there is gentleness, but not a single spark of excitement." Once they finished their feelings, Raymond created another magic circle and said, "I will prepare the contract, even though it is about marriage." Love was completely set aside. They simply listed terms and writes a straightforward business deal. Hindegard was surprised watching him use magic to write the contract. After finishing, Raymond handed it to her. "The content is brief, but I do not plan to sign it right away. However, I want the contract to take effect from this moment, before the wedding. I hope we both sign it. She gently took it and replied, Yes, I think that is fine, seeing her accept. Raymond added, Details can wait until tomorrow. No, actually later today. It is already late, she replied softly. Yes, see you next time. Your Highness. Before she could finish, the magic circle appeared and Raymond vanished immediately. Hildegard stood there, her eyes a little sad. Meanwhile, at Raymond's castle, Jofane was busy reviewing documents. The Crown Prince's aide. Jofane rose, suddenly saw a magic circle light up beside him. He looked up happily and called out, Your Highness, you are back. Where did you go just now? Raymond smiled, adjusting his coat. Had to step out for a bit. Some matters to handle. Jofane doubted and asked for details. It was not just a bit, right? I heard you went to the Bailey mansion. Raymond snapped back. I knew. Why ask? Jofane pouted in frustration. Do you know how much work piled up today because of that? He just brushed it off, saying that is not his concern. Then Raymond lazily put on his clothes. Raymond frowned in annoyance as he slipped on his jacket. Meanwhile, Jofane, curious, spoke up from behind. What about that other matter? Did you succeed? Raymond did not answer, just gave him a cold glance. Raymond casually replied to Hindegard's question. I think I made the right choice. Jofane perked up at that, clearly excited. You sound really pleased. But, honestly, would anyone propose to someone they do not like? Raymond's question threw Jofane off a bit. Your Highness, could it be that you have? Raymond did not deny it at all. Marrying for love. He gave that up a long time ago. To him, marriage is just a tool to strengthen the empire. As long as the crown princess fits the criteria, anyone will do. It does not matter who she is. He will fulfill his duties as a husband. And then, he found her. She was designed to look ordinary, but she was clearly anything but. When he met her in person, all his doubts vanished. Even the dress she clearly made herself showed the brilliance he would once seen in her gloves. Deep down, the assassin recognized Hindegard, a noble without strong backing or flashy status, yet uniquely talented. The expression she had when refusing still lingered in his mind. Thank you for your concern, but I have made my decision. I am happy to accept this, he said firmly. And she is brave too. Who would not be drawn to her? She holds so many amazing facets, like betting her whole future on marriage, just because of her mother. Most nobles do not have that kind of deep bond with their parents. That is surprising. Jofane watched him thoughtfully from behind, thinking, Johnny, tell me you are falling for Miss Bailey already. Raymond shot him an annoyed glance. Nonsense. Jofane laughed teasingly. Really? I have a feeling your Highness will fall head over heels for her like with Marcoy. Raymond snapped back immediately. Jofane, enough? Only now did he start to feel uneasy and shut down. Sorry. Raymond quickly gave orders to Jofane. Focus on preparing for the founding ceremony. We will announce the engagement that day. He added hastily. Understood. I will get the wedding budget ready. Raymond carefully instructed. We will discuss details later, but I plan to return in 3 days. Get everything ready. Jofane jumped up eagerly. Are we traveling by carriage or zip? Look at the time. I have to go train now, Raymond said tiredly, sitting down with a sigh. Quick and efficient as always. He paused, remembering Jofane's question. Dante, tell me I am falling for Miss Bailey already. Then he pressed his lips together, quietly affirming, no way. But I will do everything I can for her. I have given up on marrying for love. But that does not mean my partner has to be the same. So I will do everything possible to be a loving partner to her. That morning, Hindegard tossed and turned warily in her bed, clenching her fists. She thought, I can't get up. I stayed up all night watching over Mom. Who is there? Is Elsie. I told her to come in the afternoon. Hindegard mumbled, blinking sleepily as she sat up. Why did you come so early? But the reply came from the assassin. I just woke up naturally because I want to meet my fiancé. The two stared at each other, confused. After a moment, Hindegard covered her face and shouted, later. They sat opposite each other at the tea table. Hindegard set down her cup and started to speak. You said we would talk today, but I did not expect it to be so soon. Inside, she was quietly thinking, déjà vu or what? Meanwhile, Damon was a bit flustered as he tried to explain. Sorry about that. I thought you were already awake, she replied shyly. Well, it is still early. Suddenly, Damon stood up, leaving Hindegard a little confused. Why did he just sit down so abruptly before? The day he sat beside me, well, to be exact, we have signed a marriage contract, so it is not that strange. But still, not quite there yet. While she was still lost in thought, Daemon smiled and spoke. Can we continue this conversation at dawn? She hesitated, blushing, and replied, yes, of course. That is why you are here. Is not suddenly. Daemon's next word stunned Hindegate. Hindegate, can I call you by your first name? She froze, mouth agape, her mind screaming. Haha, Daemon smiled, leaning on the table as he suggested. Since the engagement announcement was so sudden, we need to convince everyone to believe it. Everyone loves romance. If we say we have been in love for a long time, they will get it. Hindegate, embarrassed, set down her tea and replied, yes, we definitely need to convince them. So that is why you called me, right? Then what about this long-lasting love story? He replied calmly. It is just a simple, familiar trope. I hid my true identity and met you a few years ago, and I fell in love with you while we were lost in love. Somehow you discovered my true identity and, wanting a peaceful life, you left me. But I could not forget you, and after a long chase, you finally accepted me. Raymond gently lifted Hindegate's hand and asked, is not that right? Hindegate, surprised, widened her eyes, thinking, it is not about what I think it is, whether it is true. Then he grabbed her hand again. Warning, once we start calling each other by our first names, there is no turning back. If this was just a political marriage, we could say it ended because our statuses did not match. But if we say it is a slow, genuine love story, that excuse won't work. It would not look good for your reputation either. Hindegate listened and bowed her head, saying, I understand your worries, but my heart made the decision the moment I said yes. Raymond's eyes widened in surprise when he heard her words. Then he smiled warmly and said, all right. Hindegate, she bowed her head, blushing, silently promising herself she would not misunderstand things anymore. We are now bound by a contract, and his kindness is just part of the deal, nothing more, nothing less. Yet, at that moment, Raymond smiled and suggested, call me Dave. But Hindegate shyly declined. We are moving pretty fast, she thought silently, and he is so handsome it is dizzying sometimes. Maybe it is just because I am not used to being close to men. Then Hindegate regained her composure and spoke up. There is one more thing. I want to succeed right away. Raymond replied kindly. Just tell me. Hindegate hesitated and asked, could you grant me immunity? Hearing that, Raymond immediately froze and asked, immunity? What do you mean? The terms you want from me are simple and clear: my duties as crown princess and my sewing skills. Especially, you want me to be a key player in improving clothing quality and textile issues in the Luminant Empire to outshine other nations. The Luminant Empire, which has kept peace for a long time, used to be torn by endless wars until Emperor Dongkim took the throne. But now, this peace has become dull. The people want something fresh to spark their interest. Vimon thinks that focus should be on culture, and with the knowledge and skills I have, developing the empire as fashion industry won't be a big problem. Hindegate's eyes glazed over a bit. The problem is, if something goes wrong, I will have to keep lying to this guy. If you asked me where I learned to sew, I honestly could not say. Thinking that, she tried to explain herself. I intend to fulfill my duty as His Highness as Crown Princess, but I am only human, so there will be times I make mistakes so serious they could cost me my life. Her face was filled with helplessness. Hindegate continued explaining, even if it was just once. I want the right to be forgiven as well. Vimon seemed thoughtful about her words. Then he agreed, saying, if you are nervous, we will add a clause to the contract to cover that. After their discussion, Raymond stood up to leave. I have to go now. See you in 3 days. Hindegate nodded in response. I do not have any other reason. I am just a little scared. That is all. Raymond sat back down slowly. I understand. Then let us talk about the other terms. She went along with the topic. Oh yes. Sounds good. After their talk, Raymond stood and left. I have to go now. See you in 3 days. Hindegate nodded quietly. Yes, sir. After a few steps, he turned back to ask, are you really going to be okay? The founding ceremony is only 2 weeks away. You have to sew the outfit you will wear. Plus my gloves. Hindegate hesitated, then said, I think it will be fine. I will finish them quickly. Then she thought to herself. The fighting spirit inside her was burning fiercely. Raymond was a bit surprised. Is that all you are worried about? Hindegate blinked, puzzled. Strange. He helplessly reminded her, you are about to marry. You will be in front of a lot of people. You will walk with me and announce our engagement. Yet your biggest worry is about sewing your outfit. Hindegard immediately got flustered and looked away. Well, I guess I just still can't believe it. Raymond said no more and turned to leave. If you say so, then it must be true. I have to go now. She replied politely. Yes, see you in 3 days. A flash of light sparked from Raymond's palm. He cast a spell and prepared to vanish. Suddenly, Raymond turned back. He stepped closer to her. Hindegard looked up, wide-eyed and stunned. After a moment, Raymond finally left. She slowly raised her hand, reassuring herself. Don't get the wrong idea. That day, I was just doing my duty, remembering the earlier scene. Hindegard blushed and sank down in her seat. So please, do not misunderstand me. 3 days later, she sat dazed in bed, still half asleep. She yawned and put her feet on the floor, thinking, today is the day His Highness arrives. I should get up early. Her appearance was a disaster, but she was excited. It has been a while since she designed something. The drafts she would carefully saved. She even planned to make real gloves for that day. Is the day finally here? What should I do? My hair is a total mess too. Right then, Hindegard and Joffrin appeared from behind. He smiled softly and called out while nodding. Hindegard. A quiet space appeared. Hindegard sitting tucked away in a corner. She nervously hugged her knees and said, Hello. You have come early. I am still not ready. Seeing her, Vaemorn quickly turned to Joffrin. He barked an order. Get out. Hindegard thought Vaemorn meant her and nervously called out, Hope, this is my room. So if you say get out, then yes, I will leave. Hearing her voice, he hurriedly turned back to explain. I was not talking to you. Then Vaemorn grabbed Joffrin by the collar and lifted him up. He crossed his arms and said, Later. After they left, Hindegard grew uneasy. Will he be okay? Outside, Joffrin cried out in pain after Vaemorn threw him hard to the ground. The commander stared intently at him and ordered, Forget about it. Erase it completely from the traveler's memory. Joffrin stubbornly replied, No god can erase that immediately. Vaemorn threatened, How about I poke out your eyes then? Hearing that, he immediately backed down, saying the god will erase it. The god already wiped it clean. Meanwhile, the door behind Vaemorn called out they could enter now. Sorry for not preparing earlier. Vaemorn calmly stepped in and replied, I am pretty sure I have already contacted her. His words made Hindegard a bit confused. She glanced back with curiosity contact. Then Hindegard suddenly remembered the device Zaemon gave her and let out a soft sigh. She awkwardly held it up, hesitating. I honestly do not know. Sorry. Vaemorn confidently stepped closer. I probably should be shown you how to check it first. That is my fault. Suddenly his gaze caught on something else. Looking at the unopened box on the desk, Vaemorn asked, Those gloves, are they mine? Hindegard did not hide anything and replied, Yes, that is right. I made them in case a replacement was needed, so please let me know if anything feels uncomfortable. Seeing the gloves inside the box she opened, Joffrin's eyes widened in amazement. They are really something. Vaemorn could not hide his surprise either and added, Amazing. Hindegard was thrilled and asked carefully, Right? Your Highness. Vaemorn looked at her thoughtfully and asked, Can I try them on? Hindegard happily nodded. Of course. He quickly and carefully put the gloves on. Vaemorn was amazed and thought to himself, These are so comfortable. Not just the look. My fingers move so freely, especially around the thumb. So he asked her, This part around the thumb, did you intentionally separate it? Hindegard eagerly explained, Yes. I thought it would be more comfortable that way. This way, there is no stretching between the thumb and index finger, making movement easier. Vaemorn raised his hand to examine and admitted, Usually the thumb is not separated like this. I did not even know this method existed. What about the look? The fabric is less rough now. Hindegard quickly answered, I left some extra fabric on both sides for seams, usually 1 to 2 centimeters for adjustments and seam allowance. The extra fabric is folded and sewn securely to prevent stitches from coming undone later. It is proper sewing technique. Sifen was excited and added, That really prevents stitching from coming apart. Hindegard patiently answered every question. It can't be completely prevented, but it greatly reduces damage. Raymond smiled in satisfaction. This method must be taken a lot of time. It is truly impressive. From behind, Sifen joyfully shouted, Just impressive! With this skill, every good tailor in the palace should be applied for this job ages ago. Your Highness. She blushed shyly from the praise and cautiously asked, Your Highness, is there anywhere that feels uncomfortable? He stared at his new gloves and continued praising, Not at all. The craftsmanship is excellent and the design is fantastic. However, if there is a next time, I hope you will make one for my emblem. This shocked Hindegard deeply. Hope, the emblem of Baron Viral, which I have followed as a small act of revenge. Isn't this going too far? Vaemorn cherished the gloves and said, the meaning of this emblem. I will take it as a reminder to think twice before trying to deceive you. Hindegard was touched by his sincerity. She blushed and looked away. Thinking, he accepted it so warmly. This guy is amazing. While Hindegard was still thinking, Vaemorn spoke again. Now that I think about it, I have not properly introduced myself to you. My lady, this is Serphin Ross, my assistant. From now on, you will be seeing him often. Hearing his name, Serphin warmly greeted him. If anyone has any questions about the founding ceremony or the wedding, please feel free to ask me anytime. Your Highness. Hindegard was so shocked, she could not close her mouth. Oh my gosh. He just called me Your Highness. Serphin kept on with his speech, saying that on the wedding day, he would be extra careful with her makeup, even if her face turned bright red. No one would notice. Suddenly, he shouted out loud in the middle of talking. Turns out down below, Vaemor was quietly poking Serphin's leg as a warning. He yelled in pain. That really hurts. Your Highness. Vaemor shot Serphin a sharp look and reminded him, I told you to watch your words. This is not some noble court. Then suddenly she burst out laughing, making both of them turn toward her at once. Hindegard was giggling happily, covering her mouth. Vaemor saw her blush and sighed contentedly, guessing she was starting to relax a bit. Looks like my trick still works. Serphin was proudly lifting his chin when Hindegard spoke up. Right? Please take a look at this. I have drawn the design for the outfit I will wear at the founding ceremony. I am planning to go with something like this. But what do you think looks better, white or red? Vaemor examined it carefully and suggested, I think red would look better. It really suits your hair color. His compliment made Hindegard hesitate once again. After a moment, she asked, could you add some velvet fabric to it? I think it would fit the founding ceremony well. Vaemor agreed without hesitation. All right. Got it. Anything else you need? Hindegard started to open up more. Well, I am not sure about a few things if I prepare like this. Thank you so much for your help. I think can make an amazing outfit for the ceremony. I want to get started right away. Vaemor smiled and followed up. Glad to hear that. Suddenly, he went quiet and looked dumbfounded. After thinking for a bit, he finally called out, Amamane Hindegard. She looked confused and replied, yes. His eyes suddenly grew sad as he calmly asked, have you told the Countess about our engagement yet? That question froze time for a moment. Hindegard gasped in fear. Not yet. He did not react much but spoke flatly. I see. Meanwhile, inside, she was screaming, I have not even mentioned the engagement. Hindegard recalled Lucy's look when she asked, Miss, who will be helping the Countess? At that time, she just brushed it off, saying, I will tell you later. Feeling helpless, Hindegard lowered her head and wondered, I ended things so vaguely with His Highness. What do I tell Mother about Day's identity with everyone at the mansion? Right then, he spoke to ease her worries. This is important, so it is best we go together to greet her and explain everything. Then let us visit her today. Hindegard froze for a moment but nodded hesitantly. All right. So the two of them immediately went to see the Countess' lady-in-waiting. Her voice rang out firmly. Please forgive me for receiving guests while bedridden like this. I heard you helped me with my treatment. Raymond sat properly beside Hindegard and replied, I just did what was necessary, so please do not worry. This made the Countess' lady-in-waiting a bit confused. What do you mean? What was necessary? Hilda, did I hear someone call me? Hindegard grew flustered and whispered, Who is this person? He is Crown Prince Raymond Glitchin. He is the one engaged to me. Mother. After she introduced him, Raymond respectfully placed his hand on his chest and said, It is an honor to meet you, Countess Lady-in-Waiting Bailey. She was so shocked she froze, covering her mouth and gasping. Oh my god. So you are the Crown Prince? Sitting beside her, Hindegard worried silently, hoping her mother would not have a heart attack or something from this shock. The Countess Lady-in-Waiting's eyes stayed wide open, as if she could not believe it. After a moment, she slowly nodded in response. I got it. Bailey was a bit nervous, clutching the blanket tightly with both hands. After a pause, she got straight to the point. Your Highness showing up here today means you have come to ask for my permission to marry her, right? Raymond quickly nodded. Completely sure. Hearing that, Lady Bailey's wife immediately spoke up. I am so sorry. Hindegard blurted out nervously, standing up. Mom. But she gently took Hindegard's hand and said, You are the most precious thing in the world. Those words deeply moved Hindegrat. Then Lady Bailey's wife turned to Raymond and continued, that is why I won't allow it. Her answer froze them both on the spot. Hindegrat could not believe it either, silently screaming inside, Mom? Raymond looked a bit stunned by Lady Bailey's wife's decision after a long pause. He asked awkwardly, You do not like me? She hesitated, then replied, Whether I like you or not is not something I can decide. Raymond tried to find a way out. Your Highness. Then can you tell me why? Lady Bailey's wife closed her eyes, sighed, and asked, You have not done the basic things you are supposed to. Have you? Hearing this, Hindegrat blushed. I have not done the basics. Raymond quickly nodded with a small smile. I understand. Then he stood up from his seat. Raymond knelt on one knee beside Hindegrat, softly calling her name. With a gentle smile, he held out his hand. Hindegrat widened her eyes in confusion, wondering what was really going on, but she trusted he knew what he was doing. The moment she placed her hand in his, Raymond declared, Prince Raymond, want to marry the lady of the Ballet family and be her one and only. After saying this, he softly kissed her hand, finished with the proposal. Raymond turned to Lady Bailey's wife and asked, Will you bless us? Watching this, Hindegrat realized, now I get it. Not asking for permission first, that is the right way. She vaguely remembered Lady Bailey's wife's words. You have not done the basic things you are supposed to. Then Hindegrat quietly made up her mind, clutching the layers of her dress tightly. Mother, she said, I want your blessing too. Lady Bailey's wife looked at her with eyes full of joy, then nodded and closed her eyes. I have many questions, many things I want to say, but I feel it would only hurt your heart. So I will ask just one thing. Will you be happy? Hindegrat softly whispered to herself. Those words felt like a spell, like a prophecy, leaving a deep mark in her heart. She recalled what was said about her name Hilda, meaning bringer of happiness. For some reason, the dark feelings of worry and fear seemed to wash away. Once a decision is made, it is better to focus on it and find a way to be happy rather than drown in fear. After thinking it through, she smiled happily and nodded. Of course, Mother. Inside, Hindegrat was still confused after all. No one knew how this would end. A tear slipped down Lady Bailey's wife's cheek. She looked up and said, If this is what you want, then I will bless you both. 3 days later, a voice rang out inside the castle. Sincerely thanking someone for traveling so far to come, the butler kindly said, Miss, we have moved to a new mansion in the capital. It was part of the contract terms with you, as originally proposed. He gifted us a new mansion at that time. Jofrin explained to her that she could keep the old mansion if she wanted, but he advised selling it. The land here is much better. Plus it is closer to the capital. It sounds a bit materialistic, but it is an important factor. So after explaining it to my mother, we decided to sell the old mansion. Hindegrat gently asked, Mom, are you really sure you are okay with selling the mansion, sitting kindly in the forest? She replied, Of course. It holds so many memories of me and your father, and it is where the Bailey family's traditions have been kept alive. It would be a lie to say I do not feel anything, but you are walking a tough path. Maybe you need something to help you stand stronger. Sometimes it is better if there is nothing left to look back on. I did not tell my mom how I met him or what kind of contract we signed, but she pushed me forward like she already knew everything. It was like she was telling me to leave all doubts and worries behind. So I gave each servant a generous farewell gift and a little handmade present, officially closing the last chapter of the old mansion. Except for one person, Hindegrat glanced back, and Lucy's carefree voice rang out. Miss, look at this. There is this decoration in the forest. Isn't it beautiful? The storage room was packed with costumes too. Surely His Highness prepared all this, but only Lucy refused the farewell money and followed me here. Seeing her playful look, Hindegrat asked, Lucy, are you sure you want to regret coming here with me? Lucy smiled right away and said, How could I possibly regret it? If you had not taken in an orphan like me, my life might be ended in a brothel. Where else could I leave you and go? Besides, if we live in the royal palace, won't my salary go up too? Hindegrat smiled gently. That is right. As long as you are happy, Lucy. That is all that matters to me. Having Lucy by my side is such a relief. After all, the capital is still a terrifying place for me, but I want to stop being scared. Hindegrat looked up and saw a wall painting. This one, the tapestry looked like the one I would seen at Baron Riedel's mansion. Back then, Raymond had kindly said, If you do not mind, I want to give you a gift. Hindegate was surprised he still remembered to give me something, even if this bond was formed by a contract. Jae is doing everything he can for me, so I can keep being afraid forever. Time passed, and Hindegate sat on the bed wide-eyed in shock. Raymond stepped in holding a cup of tea. She blurted out nervously, "Your Highness, please. Not now. When did you again?" Seeing her crawl under the blanket to hide, Raymond chuckled and explained, "I woke up early and thought I would stop by a bit ahead of time." Hindegate immediately questioned, "Couldn't you wait in the sitting room? Wouldn't that be better?" But he just cheerfully replied, "I just wanted to see you as soon as possible. It has been a while since we last met." Hindegate hesitated for a while, then accepted the tea and said, "I would really appreciate it if you would not do that again in the future." Raymond smiled and said, "Understood. More importantly, just now, you called me your Highness, right?" Hindegate blushed, turned away to avoid his gaze, and stammered. Raymond crossed his arms firmly and ordered, "Say it again." Feeling a little embarrassed, she slowly said, "Your Highness." Inside, Hindegate was mortified saying it out loud like that was so embarrassing. Taking the tea from her hands, he gently praised, "Well done." After he turned to leave, Hindegate was blinded by the radiant glow emanating from him. "You are as stubborn as ever today." "Your Highness," Raymond said, needing a reminder, "I will send for the servants right away. I do not have time to choose jewelry, so I brought everything I have. Are you worried?" His question left Hindegate stunned for a long moment. "The truth is, there is a reason I rushed to move to the capital." The two of them went to meet the Emperor and Empress. Raymond was the first to speak. "Your Majesties, Thayan has come to receive your blessings for the marriage of Thayan and Miss Hindegate." The scene inside the room was magnificent, with dazzling lights shining down below. Hindegate stood frozen with worry. She looked at the Emperor and Empress, thinking to herself, what if they do not agree? But right after that, he smiled and said, "I give you my blessing to marry each other." Raymond returned a smile just like the Emperor's and said sincerely, "Thank you, Your Majesty. This was totally unexpected by Hindegate. Right? That easy." The Empress chimed in kindly, "Thank you, my lady. I was worried because Raymond never showed interest in any young lady before. I did not even know he had learned how to love someone all this time." The Emperor stepped forward with a smile. "I kept introducing him to ladies year after year. I know I have fallen short, but I hope you will treat my son well, my lady." Hindegate was overwhelmed by their enthusiasm, thinking to herself, this is a bit much. Then she shyly replied, "I truly appreciate your approval, Your Majesty." Everyone else was relaxed, but she still felt awkward, bowing her head. Was it really this easy? Was this okay? Noticing her hesitation, Raymond quickly spoke up to break the tension. "May we take our leave now? There is still a lot to prepare before introducing her at the founding ceremony." The Emperor turned to him with a stern reminder. "Is that so? Good. Remember, Raymond, never be indifferent to that girl." He bowed gently. "I won't forget." "Your Majesty," and with that, the two left the sanctuary together. Walking down the hallway, Hindegate curiously called out, "What is wrong?" Raymond looked surprised and asked, "Did you already get the Emperor and Empress approval beforehand?" "You mean permission?" "I did not. I just informed them through Geofen that I would bring my fiancé today." Hindegate blushed, embarrassed. "Really? I am a bit flustered because they agreed so quickly." Seeing that, Raymond quickly reassured her. "They truly did give their permission. That reaction of theirs is definitely because I have given them a headache over marriage stuff for so long." Hindegate asked, confused. A headache. She was just as puzzled inside, wondering why they would be worried at all. That guy is perfect and very capable. Anyone would want to marry G. Suddenly, a maid stepped hesitantly in front of them. She shyly bowed and greeted, "Your Highness." Raymond's face did not change at all. He coldly ignored her. That made the maid tremble with fear, watching her scurry away nervously. Hindegate could not help but feel confused, while she was still lost in thought. Raymond asked, "I was in such a hurry earlier. I forgot to ask, did you have any trouble traveling to the capital?" She turned quickly to reply, "Oh no, thank you for asking. It was a very comfortable trip, and thanks for preparing the outfit for me. It has been a long time since I wore clothes made by someone else." Before returning to the mansion, "The carriage took me on a tour of the capital. That was your doing, right?" he straightforwardly explained. "I thought you would not have time to explore later." The door slowly opened, And Hendiget was stunned by the magnificent scene before her. She stepped in slowly, marveling. Amazing, just as she expected. He has great taste when it comes to interior design. Hendiget excitedly tiptoed from one spot to another, while Raymond stood behind, silently observing. His gaze held a hint of passion as he said, I have been thinking about this since our last meeting, but today, you look even more beautiful. Those ugly dresses you had made before did not do you justice at all. Once the founding ceremony is over, I will make sure they design plenty of outfits and jewelry just for you. Please, have a seat here. Hendiget was so stunned she froze on the spot. She knew he was generous with compliments, but this felt a bit much, kind of scary to be praised by such a handsome guy. Meanwhile, Raymond called out, I will have the servants bring some tea. She blinked in surprise. Oh, yes. Thank you. Soon the tea was served. Sitting by the tea table, Raymond asked, Have you received the velvet fabric yet? She hesitated, then replied, Yes, I got it. I just finished cutting it and am about to finish sewing it. He reached out with the pastry and asked, Finished already? Hendiget carefully took it and replied, I almost finished it on the way to Samber. You will get to see it soon at the final fitting. It is honestly pretty amazing. And it left him stunned. The first outfit she showed me had a long underlayer with another skirt over it, basically two separate pieces, and she put it together that fast, all while moving around no less. While Hendiget was holding her fork, he could not help but stare at her scared hands, his eyes heavy with worry. Then he slowly spoke up. Hendiget, there is something I need to discuss with you. Confused, Hendiget asked, What is it? He quickly warned her. During the founding ceremony, a few important guests will arrive from neighboring countries, including some from the Chigo Kingdom. As you know, Chigo's textile industry is top-notch, even surpassing our empires. Unfortunately, Prince Aiden of Chigo is very sharp-eyed and deeply involved in this field. You need to stay away from him. He will be eager to get close to you. The day before the ceremony, Lucy's voice rang out. My dear, I told you to get some rest, Hendiget tiredly replied. But I am almost done with the outfit, Lucy snapped angrily. No way. Tomorrow's the big day. Why do you look so pale? Back at the old estate, you never pushed yourself this hard. Too much responsibility will only cause trouble. My dear Hendiget. She softened. But tonight I will finally sleep well. That is why I stayed up all night. In frustration, Lucy yawned tiredly. She sighed. I am so annoyed with you. Do you really have to get married? Suddenly, Raymond's reproach came from behind. It is rude to talk like that. Lucy covered her mouth in surprise, and Hendiget quickly stood to defend her. I already told you, she is just worried. You always look unprepared. Lucy immediately bowed in apology. Hendiget bowed awkwardly, thinking, the magic necklace has not been revealed publicly yet, right? Is it okay that he is walking around like this? Raymond then asked gently, Have you been overworking yourself? Hendiget brushed her hair back and replied, I am really fine. It is not the first time I have stayed up all night. He sighed. Feeling helpless, Raymond stepped forward, took the necklace from her hand, and warned, Messing around is bad. Hendiget, I did not propose to make you suffer like this. Then he gently put the necklace around her neck. He softly added, Of course I need your talent. But since you will be my wife, I want you to enjoy what comes with it too. Hendiget was a bit dazed, thinking, My wife? She quickly stood up, turned away embarrassed. But I still want to look my best for you, Raymond bluntly refused. I can promise that. Confused, Hendiget asked why. He smiled gently. Once we are married, we will sleep together every night. I can't make any promises about that. Raymond's words flushed Hendiget's cheeks bright red. She could not even close her mouth. Sleep together? Living over 40 years including my past life. This is way beyond me. Not that I do not know about it, I just never got involved. Raymond looked a bit stunned too. Hendiget quickly turned away in embarrassment. Oh gosh, I have never even thought about those things. She blurted. Wait a minute, he calmly said. Hendiget panicked. Hendiget covered her blushing face. We have never talked about that because it is a contract marriage. I thought we would not do that. Why am I so red? Like I actually know what I am talking about. Raymond frowned worriedly from behind. I am sorry. I said something weird. What I mean is, we can have separate bedrooms. She quickly agreed. Okay, since it is just a contract marriage, We should definitely have separate rooms. The room instantly fell silent. Hindergut held his head in frustration. I do not know why, but this whole thing makes me so awkward. Then she shyly touched her cheek and spoke up. I am really sorry, but the outfit is almost finished. Would you like to see it? Raymond blinked, stared at her for a moment, then snapped back. Sure. The two of them walked out of the room side by side. The Crown Prince's office. A magic barrier quickly appeared. Hindergut hurriedly stood up to greet. You are back? Your Highness, have you seen the outfit yet? What do you think of it? Raymond did not hold back his praise. It is perfect. He laughed excitedly, just as expected. Your Highness. I knew she could pull it off. Too bad I did not get to see it myself. Why are you looking at me like that? Did I mess something up? Raymond's eyes darkened with a hint of sadness as he thought about Hilda's outfit. He remembered Hindergut's explanation. The slit was so delicate. Soon, right over the inner layer where skin showed through, he widened his eyes in amazement. I can only admire that. I am sorry I did not make it clear before. If that guy had been there, he would probably have gotten all flustered and showered the outfit with compliments. Then he slumped down into his chair, clicking his tongue in frustration. Raymond held his face, deep in thought. I know she is innocent and can't resist men. Hindergut had naively said, when we marry, we will sleep together, so I can't promise anything yet. He felt a bit helpless inside, surprised she really had no experience at all. This is trouble. If I make the wrong move, Jofren and her mother will tear me apart. After a moment, he stood up and called out. He immediately straightened up and answered. Yes, sir, Raymond seriously warned, making Jofren look puzzled. Tomorrow, watch that guy closely. No one in the world has skills like hers. Make sure he never gets close to her the day of the founding ceremony. The ceremony began with formal rituals. The emperor stood tall and slowly spoke. Nobles of the empire, honored guests from afar, welcome to the founding ceremony of the Luminan Empire. Only nobles with titles and invited guests could attend, so Hildegard could only join after the ceremony ended. She was not yet a member of the royal family and had not inherited a title. Jofren whispered behind Raymond. Your Highness, they are here. Hildegard, wearing her outfit, felt a bit nervous. I am so worried, but I will do my best because I have. She remembered Lucy handing her the gloves. The lady and my sister each made one glove. Today, I just need to go glove-free. But the lady said this requires strong nerves. The Count Bailey's wife standing nearby smiled gently. Seeing them felt like they were right by her side, and she was overwhelmed with happiness. Thinking, they are here for me. Suddenly, Jofren's voice called from behind. Your Highness. She turned around in surprise. Jofren, he smiled and explained. I will escort you to His Highness, she gladly replied. Thank you, walking beside her. Jofren asked, if you do not mind, could you ask His Highness to ease up on my punishment? Hildegard looked confused. You are being punished? Yeah, he awkwardly replied. It is always like this, and it always hurts. Meanwhile, Raymond anxiously stood inside the doorway. Suddenly, something caught his attention, and he turned around. It was Hildegard, entering with Jofren. She stared ahead blankly, her expression stunning Raymond. She silently judged. Perfect. Meanwhile, he admired inwardly. Today she is even more beautiful and radiant. Then Raymond stepped beside her and said, Hildegard, as we discussed earlier, I will use magic to make you shine. Don't be surprised. Hildegard heard it and immediately closed her eyes. Waiting, the door opened, light flooded in, and the host's voice echoed from outside. Right at this moment, Crown Prince Raymond Glitchin and Lady Hildegard from the Bailey family. As soon as the words were spoken, they walked in side by side. Hildegard looked around. Completely flustered, the founding ceremony of the Luminan Empire is a long-standing royal tradition. It started with the legendary founding emperor who won the war, thanks to the lucky gloves his wife specially made for him. So every year on the founding day, the royal family gifts a pair of gloves to a married couple or a family member. This symbolizes the royal family's strong bond and their dominance over the continent. People below started whispering, Did you see the Crown Prince gloves? The girl next to her joined in. Of course. Simple. But they look amazing. It was hard not to notice. Someone excitedly added, and that young lady's dress is stunning too. Raymond stepped onto the stage and spoke. There is something I want to announce to everyone here today, at this founding ceremony of the Lumin Empire. I want to fulfill my duty as Crown Prince, together with Lady Hildegard Bailey of the Count Bailey family. At this New Year's moment, I have decided to pledge my eternal love to her. The crowd erupted in chatter. Oh my god. The Crown Prince is really getting married. The Count Bailey family. Who is that young lady from the real Count's family? From afar, Aiden approached with a smile. Indeed, I am starting to get curious too, said Prince Aiden of the Chago Kingdom. The surrounding atmosphere buzzed with excited murmurs from the attendees. Hildegard looked at Zaman, confused, and asked if he was okay. Without hesitation, he complimented her. You look absolutely amazing. You should really see how beautiful and radiant you are. Hildegard stared at him blankly, surprised that Zay would say that about her. Then she leaned in and whispered to Zaman, no one's coming over here. They are just watching. Right? He raised an eyebrow and replied, definitely because of me. She looked puzzled and exclaimed, because Zay. Zaman patiently explained, if I step away from you for a bit, everyone will start approaching you. Hildegard realized the uneasy feeling she would had all along. She recalled when the female servant greeted him. Your Highness, the Crown Prince. Zayfat's expression was so cold even she felt nervous, as expected. She was extremely flustered with a gloomy look. Hildegard also remembered smiling at the knights and thanking them, and they hurriedly bowed deeply in response. It is my honor, she said, amazed. Even the knights sent by His Highness this morning treated her with utmost respect. He was very courteous when talking to her, but does he treat others differently? I wonder if one day, after we are married, I should ask him about that. While Hildegard was still worried, Vaymorn asked, do you want to talk to others? She jumped and replied, a little. I think if we are married, I should talk to them. Right? The banquet will last 3 days. I am not very experienced with social events like this, so I am pretty nervous, but I do not want to avoid them. Vaymorn sympathized. Got it. Then I will leave you alone for 10 minutes. I can just leave a lamb alone among nobles. Right? His wink left Hildegard stunned. Everyone around gasped in surprise. Oh wow, I never thought the Crown Prince would make that face. Vaymorn turned to Joffin behind him and nodded. Joffin quickly responded with a bow. Hildegard began to relax and think, that day is over. And just like that, they surrounded her like ghosts. The blonde hurried over, exclaiming, your outfit is so beautiful. The pink-haired girl excitedly shouted, when did you meet His Highness? She cupped her curious face and asked, can you tell me who designed your outfit? The pink-haired girl standing nearby immediately chimed in, Miss, that is not the first thing you should ask. You should ask how she met His Highness first. The blonde quickly changed the subject. I am curious about that too. Miss Bailey, or should I call you Crown Princess Vi? Hildegard laughed at the girl's playful teasing. But I have not officially accepted that title yet. Please call me whatever feels comfortable. And as for the outfit, I made it myself. The blonde was a bit shocked by her bright smile. Whoa, she seems incredibly innocent. The pink-haired girl quietly guessed. Did the prince trick her or something? Maybe she is clueless because she is from the countryside. The blonde suddenly perked up. Wait, she made the dress herself, she exclaimed excitedly. Oh, the blonde kept praising it while the Viscount beside her folded his arms. Annoyed. That dress is way too flashy. Mind if I take a closer look at the sleeves? He sneered mockingly. It is a joke. Miss, how could a countryside noble like you have made something like this yourself? Those words instantly made Chofin furious. Raymond nearby quickly turned to glare at him. Hildegard was puzzled and thought, what is with that? I did not say anything weird, so why that tone? Was he just misunderstanding me? Or was he trying to pick a fight? Hildegard's confusion was understandable since the Viscount had previously submitted a petition to the court and was harshly rejected by Raymond himself. The Viscount, seeing her silent, pressed on. Isn't he that right? Even if someone else made it and you claim it as your own, how can we prove otherwise now? And you look too young to have skills at that level. You must have been suing since you were very young. If you are a noble lady, is not that hard to believe? Raymond stepped forward with an explanation. It might be hard to believe, but she really did make it herself. The gloves I am wearing, they were made by my beloved Hildegard. She definitely would not let anyone else make my gloves. Right? I do not recall his name. But whatever. What about you? Hildegard stepped forward, raising her hand in protest. Wait! Viscount, can you explain why you are so sure I did not make it? If you can give a reasonable answer, I will take it as an insult, and you will have to answer for that. The Viscount reacted quickly. Insult is a bit much. She spoke calmly and unafraid. You have insulted me many times already. First, you insulted my sewing skills. Second, You called me a liar by saying I could not have made the dress. Third, you look down on my family because we are from the countryside. Should I understand that no one outside the capital can make a dress like this? The man, embarrassed by the questioning, stammered. I did not mean it like that. The blonde and pink-haired girls watching from outside commented. They say couples start to resemble each other in some way, so she is not as innocent as she looks. The Viscount was speechless, then suddenly shouted, Done to you no shame. Miss, a noble talking about honor over some little sewing skills. That is ridiculous. The pink-haired girl blurted out, but Hildegard stepped forward quickly and cut her off. Say that again. Viscount, and this time, choose your words carefully. I am a seamstress. And if you are ashamed and want to run your mouth, I can sew it shut for you. Seeing her fierce expression, the Viscount awkwardly stepped back. Without hesitation, he turned and ran off. Hildegard felt uneasy inside. I do not understand why he came at me like that. But he should not have called my sewing skills little tricks. From behind the door frame, a hand gently rested on her shoulder. You really are amazing. Hildegard suddenly went back to her innocent self, explaining, That was not what I meant. Really? That is just how it is. But he did not mind at all. Zeman gently leaned down and kissed her forehead, praising, You look really graceful, and you should show me this side of you more often. Hildegard was so shocked her mouth dropped open. Thank goodness he did not think it was bad. But honestly, I still do not get why that happened. Meanwhile, Zeman looked at her kindly, evaluating, and Hildegard seemed okay with how things turned out. Then he immediately glanced toward the young Marquis, who had just slipped away. Zeman's expression darkened with anger, and he quickly shot a look at Zerfin. Riemann quietly ordered, Investigate that bastard. Someone like him will cause trouble sooner or later. I won't let him off from afar. He tried to figure things out, judging by his eyes. I guess I should dig up some dirt on that young Marquis. He is definitely not going to let this slide. Riemann gave Zerfin a sharp command, just with his eyes, and Zerfin immediately caught on. Suddenly, Aiden came over from a distance, laughing loudly. So the Crown Prince Zeman finally got caught in a trap. If Lady Hildegard had not said something to that young Marquis, I was about to step in and defend Chago from those insults. Riemann was not pleased to see him either. Prince Aiden, Hildegard quickly figured out from his expression what was going on. So this takes us back to the day we got permission from the Emperor and Empress. Riemann was super cautious then, saying, Hildegard, there is something I need to tell you. I had a long, bitter time with him. Hildegard's eyes widened in surprise as she repeated, A bitter time? But according to Zerfin, he said you two were really close friends. Like, super close. When you came to check out the gloves with Zerfin, he told me that is something I needed to know. You two are not close. I just sighed helplessly at her question and patted Zerfin. He had to mention that because he knows my plan. But why say it like that? I am not letting him off. Then Riemann sighed tiredly and explained, Nothing actually happened between us. She got even more suspicious. Guessing, with that kind of relationship, you must really hate him, Riemann went on. As you know, Hildegard, before my father became emperor, this place was torn by war after a long time. The war finally ended, and the countries signed a treaty. One condition was that heirs of the royal families and nobles from each country had to study at an academy in the continent's center until they came of age. Hildegard asked, based on that info, Is that when you met Prince Aiden? Riemann quickly confirmed. Exactly. The kingdom of Chigo is famous for its textile industry, and Aiden never missed a chance to mock my outfits. She frowned at that, and he responded irritably, Yeah, so much that I hate to admit it. Unfortunately, Han and I had the same taste in clothes. Some days we even wore the same long coat, or similar shirts. He constantly made fun of my handkerchiefs and outfits like he was trying to prove Han's kingdom was way better than the Empire. Because of that, I could not give gloves to officials from other countries for 10 years. Every founding ceremony, Han would go out of his way to find flaws in the gloves and mercilessly mock them. So 3 years ago, I stopped sending him invitations. Han still officially announced his attendance and showed up every year. Hildegard listened quietly, tightening her fists in thought. This is bad. The reason was so cute it almost made me laugh. No laughing. Hildegard. Suddenly Zeman became serious and asked, Hildegard, why is your shoulder shaking? Are you crying? But her laughter caught him off guard. Since he already laughed, Hildegard could not hold it back anymore and ended up dropping down. Wait a second. I am sorry. I did not mean to laugh like that. Vayman said calmly, sitting down to reassure her. Okay, if my story can bring you some joy, then that is what really matters. Hindegard wiped away her tears softly, thinking to herself, I definitely should not say it is because it was too cute. Looks like I have got some valuable info after all. Always calm and perfect with no flaws, that is the only side I would ever seen from Prince Gay. Knowing he has a side like any normal person, that is a huge deal. It means he wants to grow the fashion industry, not just for the empire, but for personal reasons too. I have wondered why he picked me specifically. Now I sort of get it. Well, I did not before, but now I think I understand a little. Suddenly, the thick-skinned guy spoke up. Anyway, because of this, he is definitely going to chase after you. So please, stay away from him, Hindegard nervously replied. Could it be inside? She was totally flustered. No way. No way. But still, Raymond cut her off, raising a hand to explain. That is because of your face. He gently placed his hand on her cheek and lifted Hindegard's face up. He smiled softly and said, Totally my type. Then Aiden stepped forward and asked, It has been a while. Your Highness, are you doing well? I was actually planning to give your Highness some honest advice about your gloves this year, but looks like I won't be able to anymore. Raymond scoffed. You call that advice? Usually, people do not call it advice when they just keep pointing out someone else's flaws. Most folks call that an insult, Aiden said casually, holding out his hand. Honestly, I am a bit disappointed to hear you say that, but thanks to me, your gloves have improved every year. Have not they? Not just that. Remember back in academy, it was my advice that helped improve your Highness's outfits too. Right? Meanwhile, Hindegard sighed helplessly, feeling like the odd one out. He crossed his arms, staring at her. I bet you even found your fancy because of me. Raymond stood silently by the side. Aiden grew more confident. I never imagined a kind young lady who could embrace a fool with such compassion would be the one to stand by your Highness. Hindegard felt dizzy from his words and waved her hand. Suddenly, Raymond grabbed her waist and pulled her close, continuing to praise her. She is not just kind, she is really beautiful too. That move from him made Aiden step back. Meanwhile, Hindegard was quietly crying inside, thinking, this is way too childish. Why do I feel like I am stuck in a situation like this? Jofrin, get me out of here. Meanwhile, Jofrin was silently turning his head to the wall while laughing loudly. Hindegard's inner self screamed in frustration. Jofrin. Right after, Aiden asked him, Miss, did you say you made your Highness's gloves yourself? She was a bit flustered, but quickly composed herself and replied, Yes, that is right. Vayman quickly spoke up to introduce. Let me introduce. This is Hindegard. He is Prince Aiden of the Kingdom of Chigo. Aiden is the young lady's fiancé. Vayman added, after the introduction. Hindegard lifted her skirt and bowed. It is an honor to meet you. Your Highness, I am Hindegard of the Bailey family, he responded without hesitation. The honor is mine. Miss Bailey, if neither you nor your Highness has any objections, may I take a closer look at the gloves? Hindegard thought quietly. He took a step back. If he can stand up to someone like that, he must be pretty arrogant. But the truth is, he stepped back, proving he really wanted to see how those gloves were made. Vayman then slowly took off the gloves. Hindegard whispered to him, a bit worried, asking if it was really okay. Vayman generously replied, No problem. It might even be better for her future. Those words left Hindegard stunned. Better for her future. So that is what he meant, because the Kingdom of Chigo has a booming textile industry. They literally speak the language of materials and accessories, like velvet and gold thread. In fact, the velvet I am wearing right now was imported from Chigo. And even though Zay and Aiden might be at odds right now, Geffen told me that during the harshest war times, the alliance between the Luminan Empire and the Kingdom of Chigo never wavered. After signing the treaty, Luminan advanced in military power and technology, while Chigo, under their protection, developed its cultural industries, a symbiotic relationship that made both nations thrive. Above all, Geffen said Zay is very generous to truly talented people. He also said that the two had scholar scholars back in the academy, so they could be rivals, and at the same time, bitter enemies. After checking out the gloves for a while, Aiden asked how she managed to make something like this. I mean, this thumb part, most people just shape it like the hand and call it a day. So how did you come up with this design? He pressed her, cornering her to answer. Raymond quickly put a hand on his shoulder, stepping in for her. Well, as you can see, it is a state secret. Raymond's protection of Hindegard surprised Aiden. She also stopped glaring up at him. Suddenly, Aiden smiled and asked, Can I ask you a few questions? Your Highness, is this payback for what happened between us? Or are you serious? Raymond shot him a sharp look and replied, Both. I stood aside, bursting out laughing at that, while Hildegard gave a helpless smile. She was a bit annoyed at the two men's childish behavior. The next day, the second day of the party, everyone again marveled at Hildegard's beauty. Miss, your dress today is stunning. She smiled happily and replied, Thank you. It is a remake of a pre-existing dress. Pink Hair excitedly asked, If there is no big secret, could you share how you made it? Blonde Hair chimed in cheerfully, If possible, I would love to share tea with you someday before the wedding. Those words left Hildegard a bit stunned. On the second day of the party, I learned a few things. Geffen stepped forward and reminded us, Please stop here. If you want to contact His Highness, please go through me. Ladies, they were stunned. Sir Geffen, I did not know Geffen actually holds a rank. They quickly turned and left. See you later. Miss, his influence is even bigger than I thought. He always seemed so carefree. I never realized it before, but I guess it was expected. Only certain noble classes or higher can directly approach the royal family. Suddenly from afar, Aiden came over and started talking. Are you enjoying the party, Miss Bally? You have such beautiful hands, he said, reaching out to compliment her. And your outfit today is really special and adorable too. She even sewed the collar herself. Aiden kept approaching me. Hildegard thought nervously. Since yesterday, he has been asking about my outfit every chance he gets. His persistence is almost obsessive. Now I understand why Geffen said he is close with Zay. Zay definitely can't stand him, but during this time, I did not talk to Aiden anymore. Suddenly from behind, Zayman stepped up gently and called out, Hildegard, His Majesty wants to see you for a moment. She blankly looked up and asked. No, he quickly confirmed. Yes, exactly. Hildegard saw the strange half-smile on his face and thought to herself, if Zayas trying to make this sound less suspicious, he should not say it so bluntly, since Zayman always interferes whenever Aiden tries to get close. Aiden got a bit annoyed and placed his hand on his shoulder, saying, Wait a moment. Your Highness, you plan to keep going like this? Vayman bluntly confirmed. Yes, because of that day, he asked confusedly. But what did I do? He sighed and replied, I stopped you before you could. Shall we go? Hildegard. She followed him but could not help glancing back at Aiden. Isn't he this a bit much? Zay once said my face is Aiden's type. But honestly, I do not think Aiden sees me as a woman. None of his questions since yesterday were about me at all. Hildegard recalled what Aiden had told her. She even sewed the collar herself. Feeling a bit helpless inside, it was always about her clothes and how to make them, even if Aiden had feelings for me. What does that have to do with me? Despite the thought, Hildegard kept walking beside Zayman. Those in front of them quickly bowed upon seeing him. Suddenly, she noticed Zayman's face darken. His eyes held a sharp glint. Hildegard started daydreaming again. We are bound by a contract, as long as it benefits both sides. It won't be broken. A bad memory flooded Hildegard's mind. She walked on, quietly determined. Unless he decides to end it first. The two entered another room together. Zayman suddenly stopped and looked back at her, asking, Do you think I am overreacting? Hildegard was a bit confused. Yes, he quickly explained. I mean how I treat Aiden. That is when she slowly realized. Well, maybe a little. I just thought. After all, he is still a guest. Veman laughed upon hearing this in turn. You worried about me? Hildegard blushed, embarrassed. Did I meddle too much? He just smiled warmly and reassured her. It makes sense. But there is nothing to worry about. Aiden and I are just using each other, Hildegard dreamily asked. Using each other, Veman openly confirmed. Exactly. Maybe you have noticed? Many nobles and people around feel I am scary. I come off as too strict and intimidating. So genuine conversations are rare, even about business matters. That is why Aiden and I made this deal. Every year he mocks and provokes me, but it gives us space to talk more naturally with key people and reap mutual benefits. Hildegard gradually understood everything. So it is a mutually beneficial relationship. Veman confirmed again. Exactly. Also, we make it public so everyone sees how close I am with Luminan. Her expression became more thoughtful. I get it now. Did Aiden realize this? Veman explained frankly. Naturally. That is why he puts so much effort into it. Insults aimed at our pride and feelings. Completely real. Hildegard laughed in amazement. Suddenly, Veman fell into thought. Aiden is not the type to hold back without giving his all. He is one of the few who ever made me feel defeated. Earlier, at the banquet hall, Aiden smiled as he watched him walk away and teased, "Your Highness' love story is spreading fast like wildfire, and it is pretty impressive too." Veman quickly cut in, "It is not an exaggeration. It is the truth." He had to admit it again. "I never believed Your Highness could be that romantic. Love really can open blind eyes. Hope some call it the love of the century because it is." Then he suddenly fell silent. Thinking, Aiden coldly exposed it. Just a carefully staged play. After hearing this, Veman's eyes narrowed and stared straight at him, but Aiden smiled back without fear. He aggressively warned, "Don't spout nonsense based on your own assumptions anymore. We have known each other for a long time. As rivals, there were moments I gave in to him, or he took what was mine. That is why we never became friends, because we are always chasing the same thing." Saying that, Zeman grew thoughtful, wondering if though it might never happen in some impossible scenario, I ended up alone with Hendiget. And suddenly she reached out her hand to me while I stood frozen in place. There were a few threads caught on her clothes. That little gesture left Zeman stunned for a moment. Even as she brushed off his jacket, Zeman kept staring at Hendiget. She finally spoke up. "All right. That is enough." He nodded in acknowledgement. Then Zeman took Hendiget's small hand and said, "Shall we head back to the hall?" She nodded confidently. "Yes, sir." The two walked on together as Zeman spoke gently. "If you are tired, we can end early." Hendiget hesitated. "But is not this your responsibility? I just need to get used to this." Seeing her enthusiasm, he relented. "All right, but do not push yourself too hard." Saying that, Zeman turned and left, his eyes still quietly worried. The door slowly closed behind him. A few days later, in a quiet room, Hendiget suddenly spoke up. "There is something I really need to ask." That caught both Zeman and Geoffin by surprise. She told herself, "No matter how much I push myself, I can't let this chance slip away." Then Hendiget firmly clutched her papers and declared, "I really want to do this." After unexpected twists, the founding ceremony finally wrapped up smoothly, and I moved into the palace earlier than planned. That is because I had to start preparing for the wedding immediately. And only after moving in did I realize becoming crown princess is way tougher than I thought. The palace traditions, the lessons on etiquette, and on top of all that, I still have to make the dress I will wear at the wedding. Hendiget clenched her fists, determined. "But it is okay. I said I would do it. So let us give it our best." Hendiget, "Yeah, it is fine at the start. I just do not know if I can actually make a wedding dress. This world does not even have the concept of wedding dresses. Most people just wear their nicest or a brand new outfit. That is it. I guess I can only try making one. But I am not even sure if pure white fabric exists here. And that is not even the only challenge." Lost in thought, a voice suddenly called from behind. "Your Highness, you have arrived." Hendiget nervously stood up and replied, "Yes, I am coming. Even if I manage to make a wedding dress, if the groom's outfit does not fit, or sitting too long makes my legs numb, we will look totally ridiculous." Raymond stepped in from behind, greeting her. "Good morning." Hendiget, while she was still lost in her thoughts, what if he wore a more modern suit? Raymond is so tall and handsome it is almost unfair. Hendiget imagined this as Raymond tugged at his coat and asked with a smile, "Did you sleep well last night? What is on your mind?" Then he actually said, "Hendiget, are you feeling unwell? You look a bit pale." Hendiget hesitated a moment, then mustered the courage to speak. "There is something I really need to ask you." That left Jules, Fen, and Raymond all surprised. She thought quietly, "Even if it is a bit beyond me, I can miss this chance." Then Hendiget gripped her papers tightly and expressed, "I really want to do this." She showed him her design. Raymond took the paper and could not help but exclaim, "That is an outfit I have never seen before. You want me to wear this at the wedding?" Hendiget smiled and replied, "I want to use that exact design. I have not decided yet, but I will try to make it kind of like that." She thought to herself, planning to create a whole new taxi outfit. Raymond blushed a little and asked, "With just this, I can really picture the whole outfit. But would not it be too much for you to handle both parts?" Hendiget pointed to the sketch and replied, "Even so, I still want to make it. After all, it is our wedding. If the outfits we wear that day are truly special, they will mark the start of everything. Besides, I heard from Geoffrin that you are secretly helping me out. A few tasks to lighten my workload. Right? So to show my thanks, I want to give you a gift too." Raymond was super shy at her confession. Hindige. Jofrin stood behind quietly chuckling. Suddenly, Diamine spun around and startled him, making Hindige jump and exclaim. Raymond eagerly asked, "Did you draw this? Is this the outfit you want to wear at the wedding?" She replied excitedly. "Yes. I have not finished the final draft yet. I was worried the outfit might attract too much attention." What was that sound? Raymond smiled and waved Jofrin away, then answered her, "It is nothing. More importantly, can you show me the outfit design?" Hindige hesitated a bit but agreed. "Yes, of course." Raymond approached her sketch and commented, "I have only glanced at your draft for a moment, but these designs feel different." He thought to himself, no matter which one she picks, it is going to cause quite a stir. Hindige watched his expression nervously and asked, "Is it too daring?" Raymond looked at her face and then smiled gently to reassure her. "It is fun. I hope you can create the most dazzling dress you are capable of, like you have heard." Hindige, lots of people want to wear the outfit you will be in at the ceremony. Actually, costume shops across the empire are flooded with requests to copy it. Chigo is really interested in the kind of fabric you used, and has been trying out some handmade samples recently. Hindige happily noted, "Yeah, if it is Chigo, they will manage it." Hindige thought to herself, fabric can be handmade, like this lace here. Suddenly, Daimin took her hand warmly, saying, "Through this, I have strengthened my resolve. Thank you so much." Hindige looked puzzled. About what? His explanation left her confused. "I want to make a statement to the whole world. Through this wedding, I want to show that Lumion is ready to lead the world in culture and beyond. That we have the ambition and determination to be on top." Hindige blushed shyly but smiled proudly. She felt truly lucky. If it were not for that day, if I married someone else, I would never even dream of this, or designing such outfits. Thinking this, Hindige spoke up. "Thank you, Dai, for believing in my skills so much." Dai smiled at her warmly. Then he asked, "With that in mind, could you let Sylphan stay by your side until the wedding starts?" Hindige blinked in surprise and asked, "Why Sylphan?" Daimin quickly explained. "He will be really helpful if anything happens." She agreed quietly. "All right. I understand." Hindige thought to herself, "I do not really get it, but whatever." Right after handing over the task, Daimin turned to leave. "I have a lot to do, so I will take off first. Oh, and do you want to add any clauses?" Hindige started thinking. "Add any clauses?" Daimin repeated. "Yes, the contract clauses we agreed to sign before the wedding. You remember, right? I just wonder if you want to add anything." Hindige's eyes widened in confusion. Contract signing. That is when she remembered what Damon said. "Even though we think we should sign right now, ideally it should be done before the wedding. What do you think?" Hindige agreed. "And I think that is fine too." Hindige suddenly realized, "Oh right, he did say that before." Then she hesitated and apologized. "Sorry, I completely forgot." Vayman smiled with understanding. "No problem. If you want to add any clauses, just let me know." Hindige quickly replied, "Yes, I will." Suddenly, Damon went quiet and stared at her. He calmly asked, "Actually, since we talked about this, I have been curious about the type of fabric you used for your outfit." Hindige widened her eyes, waiting for the question. "Yes." Then Vayman gestured toward her, wondering how she knew how to make it. Vayman kept asking, "Like this fabric is not common at all. Yet you brought quite a lot with you here. It really surprised me." Hindige hesitated and replied, "About that, when I was reincarnated into this world and started sewing again, I realized it is not easy to find materials or fabrics like in my past life. So even knowing I could not use them right away, I made the fabric and other materials, little by little whenever I could. Of course, I could not tell the truth." After thinking a bit, she said, "When I was young, I used to play around with district officials and made some fabric samples. I kept making them bit by bit, and the amount gradually increased." Damon's eyes darkened thoughtfully. Then he asked again, "What I am curious about is, since these materials are rare, you could have sold them to clothing shops, but you did not. I wonder why." Hildegard was a bit startled, then answered, "Oh, it is not like I never tried." She was a bit embarrassed but said, "When our shop was on the brink of collapse, I really did go to some clothing shops to earn extra money. Many day." Sully excitedly said, "Wow, this is so beautiful. I will pay you the bonus equivalent to sewing 2 sets of traditional outfits for this fabric. How about that?" Geffen standing behind asked in disbelief. Did they really offer that price? That is outright robbery. Just by looking at it, you can tell it is high quality, and is only worth 2 traditional outfits. Hildegard bowed her head, blushing as she said, "That is when I realized, even if I do not know much about this world or have talent, if I do not have power or money, I will just end up enriching someone else. I am pretty practical." Raymond was a bit touched and called out, "Hildegard, where is that shop?" Hildegard knew what he was about to do and quickly stopped him. "It is fine, Damon. It is all in the past now. Honestly, I am more grateful to Ms. Sully now. She paid me what I was really worth, did not she?" Raymond hesitated a bit, then confirmed, "Yes, she did." Geffen, standing beside him, sighed quietly. Then he said goodbye. "We are heading out. Don't overwork yourself." Hildegard replied gently, "You too, Damon." Raymond and Geffen left together. He paused thoughtfully and instructed, "Geffen, from now on, your priority is not me but Hildegard." He bowed respectfully and acknowledged, "Understood, Your Highness." Then Damon's face darkened as he ordered, "Keep an eye on that clothing shop in Mies Sully, and make sure no rumors about this reach Hildegard." Geffen bowed respectfully. "Yes, I will be careful." Then the two continued on their way. Raymond walked while wondering to himself, "Why am I so angry?" He recalled Hildegard's words. "She paid me what I was really worth, did not she?" And nodded to himself. Hildegard was right. She was just speaking the truth. Suddenly, Raymond ran his hand through his hair and said, "Aiden." Aiden turned to him confused. "Yes." Raymond stayed still for a long moment before ordering, "Arrange a meeting between Hildegard and Aiden." Joffen jumped, startled, and asked, "Have you already finished negotiating with Chago?" He calmly replied, "They agreed to supply the fabrics and materials we need. I will explain everything later, but I told them there won't be any compensation for this." Joffen gave a helpless laugh. "Unbelievable," holding his hand firmly. Raymond added, "They even think Hildegard deserves it. That is who I am talking about. Just meet them when absolutely necessary, and only those present." Joffen nervously shouted, "Got it. I remember that clearly." The next morning in Hilda's room, Countess Bailey's wife watched her getting ready and asked, "Are you really going to wear that?" Hildegard casually tied her hair and answered, "Of course. I am not meeting him just for fun." The Countess looked puzzled. "But it is the prince from another kingdom." Hildegard answered without a hint of worry. Joffen said it was fine. "Prince Aiden does not care much about appearances." Countess Bailey was still very concerned. "But you might meet His Highness today." Hildegard smiled and explained, "Maybe, but I really do not have time to prepare right now. Besides, I was not chosen for my looks anyway." Her answer made Countess Bailey and Lucy both sigh and exchange looks, thanks to some help from the connections. "My mother was able to stay in the palace for about a month, officially as a lady-in-waiting, but that was just on paper. She was really there to care for Lucy and get treatment from the royal doctors. Her health was gradually improving." "All right, Mom, I am heading to the reception room," Countess Bailey's wife said with satisfaction. "Take your time, dear." Hildegard hugged her documents and headed out. "Joffen, did I keep you waiting?" He smiled back. "Not all." Suddenly, Joffen's gaze froze. Hildegard looked confused and asked, "Why are you looking at me like that?" Joffen smiled and shook it off. "Nothing. I will escort you to the reception room." She felt relieved. "Thanks." "Joffen, can you tell me when Prince Aiden will arrive? I do not have much time, so I will sketch the pattern while I wait." He stepped inside and asked, "Does that mean you have already picked the design?" Hildegard smiled confidently. "Yes, I have." Inside the drawing room, she slowly spread a large piece of fabric on the table. Joffen stood guard at the door, and behind him, Aiden was entering. Just as Joffen spoke, Aiden covered his mouth to signal for silence. Aiden grinned and gestured. "I just want to watch her work for a bit." Joffen glared at him angrily but thought, "Just watching one cause any trouble for His Highness." Then he spoke up to negotiate. "What will you give me in exchange for this?" Aiden laughed openly. "Tell me when you leave, and I will grant your request." Joffen narrowed his eyes. "You promise?" Aiden gave an exasperated smile. "I promise. You are such a sly one." Then he looked up at Hildegard. "All right then. I just have to take a look now. Let us see what skills this Empire's gem has." Hildegard quickly grabbed the chalk and started drawing on the fabric. Her eyes were laser-focused. Aiden got caught up in every move she made. After a while, she pushed the fabric forward and drew a straight line with the chalk. Aiden watched for a moment and then burst out laughing with excitement. He looked up, laughing. No wonder His Highness is so captivated. Hearing that, Joffen felt a chill. "Oh, Prince Aiden's easy to tempt with this stuff. The Crown Prince taste is just like Prince Aiden's. Earlier, when I saw the Crown Princess's outfit, it perfectly matched both their styles. That is what I thought at the time. Now she is showing off her focus and skills too. Suddenly, Joffin froze at the scene before him. Aiden asked, Joffin, what is she drawing? Hildegard kept working while responding automatically. I am drafting a pattern to make an underskirt that will add volume to the dress. He blinked in confusion and asked, a pressing pattern? Hildegard quickly explained simply, it means creating a template for the outfit. If you take measurements and draft the pattern first, you have to keep checking the fit on the body. Aiden nodded and asked, got it. But you said you are adding extra volume to the dress. Without hesitation, Hildegard laid out her idea. That is right. If you only wear the outer dress, its weight will pull it down. No matter how many pleats it has, it won't flare out nicely. Joffrin panicked behind her, reaching out and shouting, no way. Not that. Please. Aiden kept questioning. If you wear it like that, will all the pleats on the dress still show? Hildegard blushed, picking up the layers of the dress and replied, that is exactly why I will add another layer on top. Suddenly, she paused and thought, wait, who am I even talking to right now? Seeing Aiden appear behind her, she just stared in shock. He teased lightly, what is wrong? Am I bothering you? Hildegard turned, lifted her dress, and bowed. Please excuse me. Prince Aiden. She sadly looked at Joffrin. I told you to remind me when that day came. He clutched his chest in defeat, sighing. I really should not put His Highness in awkward situations like this. Such sincere, pure eyes, breaking the awkward mood. Aiden smiled. It is totally fine. Do not worry about it. Just call me Aiden. Hildegard smiled as she accepted the handkerchief. That would be too rude. Joffrin quickly said, please ask Lucy about the handkerchief I made for me. Understood? She replied. Meanwhile, Joffrin was confused, wondering if he should stop them since His Highness was about to give it to Prince Aiden. He recalled Raymond's advice. Joffrin, from now on, your priority is not me. But Hildegard, that only made him more flustered, because it was also the Crown Prince's order. Then I have to put the Crown Princess above all else. Meanwhile, Hildegard started chatting with Aiden. I heard Chigo will be supplying the materials this time. He placed a hand behind his head, smiling. Yes, it is an honor to contribute to creating such a masterpiece, especially something made from the beautiful hands of Miss Bailey. Hildegard recalled Raymond's words with a hint of admiration. Beautiful hands. Huh, seems their styles really match. Then she nervously wiped sweat from her forehead. Actually, I have a question. Aiden smiled and said, of course. Go ahead. Right after, Hildegard shared her thoughts. I am thinking of using satin fabric for this part. Aiden was shocked. She knows about satin fabric. While he was still stunned, she placed the handkerchief on the table and continued. Ideally, I want something as pure white as possible. Is that possible? He hesitated. My lady, even in Chigo, satin fabric is not widely known. Can I ask how you know about it? Just then, Lucy came in. Here's the lady's handkerchief. But today is the day. Joffrin stared blankly. What is wrong? Lucy anxiously peered inside. Is it really okay to leave the lady alone like this? She is with Prince Aiden now. Joffrin clasped his hands, thinking, it should be fine. I was told to go out that day. Suddenly Raymond appeared from behind. It should be fine. They both jumped in surprise. Your Highness. Raymond grabbed Joffrin by the collar and dragged him away, complaining. I was foolish to trust you. Joffrin stammered in reply. Isn't today the day of your appointment? Your Highness, he asked, a bit annoyed. So this is what happens whenever I have a date. Huh, Joffrin calmly explained. Isn't it true that the words of the Crown Princess should come first? Your Highness. Raymond spoke up firmly. Yes, but her safety has to come before everything else. Joffrin argued again. Then there is even less to worry about. Right? Prince Aiden would not hurt her. Raymond angrily turned away. That is exactly why it is dangerous. Tired, he rubbed his head. I can imagine how it is. That sly talker will definitely throw some clever questions out there. And worst of all, Raymond remembered what Aiden said to him. He is playing a long game. He clenched his lips firmly. Back to reality. Raymond slammed Joffin's book down with a bit of frustration. Joffin, are you still stuck in our academy days? He hesitated, but before he could finish, Raymond cut him off sharply. None of that matters now, back at the academy. I did not like Aiden at all. But we kept getting tangled up together because that place was so ruthless. I made Joffin my subordinate. But he was still weak, so I had to rely on someone I could trust, even just a little. But Joffin has not moved past that since then. Then he reminded him, like it was the first all-nighter in years. Joffin, meanwhile, in another room, Aiden was grilling Hindiget. Right now, Len and Saige are still common materials. Fabrics like velvet that you requested earlier, and even Satan, all require special weaving techniques. They only appeared in Chigo recently, about 10 years ago, and that is because we learned the technique from the Sasoi lands during the war. So how do you know about Satan? His words left Hindiget dumbfounded. That, she nervously bit her lip. Thinking, then she started to explain defensively. My father is a merchant. Aiden frowned in doubt. A merchant. She thought he believed her and continued. Yes, but he is not someone of high rank. I have been sewing since I was little, and he travels everywhere to bring me rare fabric samples. That is how I learned about many materials. Inside, Hindiget was panicking, silently pleading, please, just believe this. Please accept my explanation. But things did not go as she hoped, Aiden coldly revealed. Do you realize that in Chigo, knowledge about fabrics is usually kept within the royal family or noble houses? So how did a common merchant manage to get fabric samples somehow? How should I put this? Trapped by his questioning, Hindiget gripped her dress tight, her mind spinning. I have to say something. If I stay silent now, I will get blamed. Gritting her teeth, she tried to speak. That is then suddenly, Diamond appeared to rescue her. Saying I gave them to her, both turned to look at where he appeared. Aiden spoke without hesitation. Prince Diamond, don't tell me you are about to spout nonsense. She mentioned her unremarkable father. Just curious. But did you really give those to her? He asked bluntly. Right? Because I have been involved with her for a long time. I worried it would be a burden if I handed them to her directly. So I asked Count Bailey to deliver them for me. Aiden could not hold back. You entrusted such rare materials to your lover. Huh, and that was 5 years ago. 2. Hindiget showed no sign of backing down, pushing back on Aiden. That is right. He felt utterly frustrated and protested. No way. That is ridiculous. Anyone could see how suspicious that is. What the heck? But Diamond stood confidently in front of Aiden. Go ahead and try me. Aiden looked over at Hindiget. Curious. Does he really think she is worth that much? No way. Your Highness would never. I can force the truth out, but judging by his tone, if I keep pushing, it might cause a diplomatic incident. Well, I guess I will let it slide this time. After weighing the pros and cons, Aiden spoke up. My lady, forgive me if what I am about to say sounds like an accusation. I do not mean to insult you. Hindigrath said, increasingly flustered as she waved her hands. It is really fine. Aiden gave a helpless smile and suggested. All right then, back to your request. You want the dress pure white, right? Hindigrath hesitated before adding, make it utterly flawless. He snapped back into professional mode and continued. Is there a reason? Because white stains easily and can't be reused. Hindigrath quickly got caught up in the work talk, calmly explaining to Aiden, that is true, but the wedding only happens once. Right? I want the white to be as original and perfect as possible. Is that difficult? Aiden responded quickly. I will see what I can do. Behind them, Jae-moon just stood silently, watching the two without saying a word. After some time passed, Aiden politely put his hand up in farewell. Until next time, Prince Jae-moon. My lady. The door slowly closed behind his retreating figure. Raymond turned his back to her and softly called. Hindigrath. She blinked in surprise. Yes, his eyes were filled with sadness as Raymond said, I have tried to hold it in, but I just can't anymore. Hindigrath looked up quickly to comfort him. Okay. Deep down, she would already braced herself. She knew this moment would come. After a while, Jae-moon and Hindigrath sat facing each other at the tea table. He looked thoughtful, wondering how to start the conversation. Usually, I would fire off questions without mercy, like someone with no heart or tears. But she is going to marry me soon. I do not want to start like that. Besides, I do not like that approach. Suddenly, Jae-moon switched topics. Have you decided on the design yet? She looked up, surprised. Really? Yes, I have made up my mind. She replied. Inside, Hindigrath was also confused. Why were they talking about the dress now? It is not a weird topic, but right now, I thought we would discuss something else. Or maybe he was just trying to avoid me, thinking that She sighed and asked, "Do you want to see the design?" "No choice." He responded, "Sure, I would be glad to." Hindegrath went to fetch the sketches and showed them. "This is my dress, and this is your outfit. I have thought through the design carefully. The dress will fit snugly around the chest and waist." Raymond examined and asked, "So the shoulders will be exposed, right?" Hindegrath quickly replied, "Yes, I plan to use mesh around the shoulder and neck area." He imagined it and commented, "That is kind of revealing. The back will be cut even more, maybe covered with some white mesh." If anyone saw Hindegrath wearing this dress, Raymond looked a bit uncomfortable, so she quickly broke the awkward silence. "It is kind of revealing, is not?" Though she said exactly what he was thinking, Raymond responded generously, "Not at all. I believe it will suit you perfectly." He reassured himself, "If anyone dares to disrespect her, I will punish them immediately." Jophane stood silently nearby. Bowing her head, Raymond suddenly asked, "Is this all she is wearing?" There seemed to be additional pieces sketched beside it. Hindegrath smiled. "Yes, there are multiple parts. Normally, you wear a long shirt, a belt, and a vest, right? This is..." Suddenly she fell silent, confusing him. What is wrong? Hindegrath, she scooted to the side and placed her hand on the chair. "Excuse me, but could you please sit next to me?" It was a bit hard to explain. Her words made Raymond pause for a moment. Jophane looked so shocked she almost dropped her jaw. Raymond immediately stood and moved over like a machine. "I can." He hurriedly sat down right beside her. Hindegrath gently presented the sketches and carefully explained. Continuing, "This is just the outer jacket, a surcoat, a vest, and a taxi set. There are 3 layers in total. You will also need to wear a tunic underneath." Semon's face flushed instantly, and he awkwardly asked, "Sorry, but could you explain that again?" Hindegrath answered politely, "It is a bit fast, is not it? I will explain it more slowly. This is a serming shirt." After hearing everything, Raymond exclaimed, "This is definitely more complicated than what I usually wear." The shoes were unusual too. Hindegrath cheerfully asked for his opinion. They matched the outfit pretty well. "But do you think there is something better?" Raymond just smiled warmly. "It is fun, even if it is not trendy. I like how it gives off a royal vibe when I wear it." His smile left Hindegrath momentarily stunned. Then she spoke up with a request. "I have a small favor. But first, I want to apologize to your highness." Raymond, surprised, asked, "What is it?" Hindegrath quickly explained everything. "It was not intentional, but I gave Prince Aiden a brief explanation about the tailoring and the extra skirt layer. It is not Joffrin's fault. It was my carelessness." Seeing Raymond seemed upset, she gently grabbed his coat. With a pitiful look, Hindegrath pleaded, "Please do not scold Joffrin." Raymond was caught off guard by her action. His face quickly reddened, and he shyly looked away. "I am not scolding him. Not at all. I just think if you meet Aiden, some discussions are inevitable. But this can be leaked. Is that info detailed enough for someone to copy it?" Hindegrath bowed her head nervously. "Not really." That made him feel a bit relieved. "All right then. That is good. I actually want to talk about something else. I never asked you to tell me everything. Just one thing. Can I trust that you won't lie to me?" His question caught Hindegrath off guard. Her eyes widened, wondering if not lying included keeping information secret. "I should tell Joffrin about my past life." Her grandmother's words echoed again. "From today, you will learn how to make hanbos." Hindegrath thought to herself, "That day I must have been crazy. Of course, I could prove it with my skills, but I do not know why. Why am I so afraid to tell the truth?" While she hesitated, Jamin spoke up. "You did not give details, so I guess you have your reasons. If you are not lying, I will forgive you for keeping things from me. But promise me this. Do not put me in a position where I can protect you. As your partner, that is my responsibility." Deeply moved, Hindegrath grasped his hand. "I understand." Truly, her heart felt like it was blooming. He was genuinely kind. Suddenly, Jamin changed the subject again. "That handkerchief is..." His mention made Hindegrath a bit confused. "The gloves? They are only for Aiden, right? Thanks for using this handkerchief." "Your Highness." Hindegrath recalled giving the handkerchief to Aiden. "Sorry for giving you a used one. Please take this instead." Then she froze. Jamin, a bit older, bowed his head and waited. Suddenly, Hindegrath giggled at his expression. She stepped forward, took Jamin's hand, and said, "You are very special to me. You know that right? Can you come here? I want to give you something even more special. Can you wait for me a moment? Without hesitation. Jaemin nodded. Okay. Meanwhile, Aiden felt anxious, thinking, did I really just wander around the demon gate? That is a tough request to pull off. He recalled her request. Can this be ready in a week? I will need time to sew. A few minutes ago, Vayman pressured him. You are not going to say it can be done, right? Facing Hindegrath's hopeful face, Aiden gritted his teeth and answered, of course not. Prince Jaemin, hearing him say that, she happily burst out laughing. Thank you, sir. Her smile made Vayman laugh along without realizing it. Aiden saw this scene and frowned in irritation. Right now, all he could do was scream inside, stupidly taking his bait. But Jaemin, are not you going a bit too far? That rat has not changed one bit. His look, his tone, and refusing under Chigo's name would shatter my pride. The tailors would be furious with me. We took on a tough job to make that pure white fabric that is so hard to bleach. All under tight deadlines too. Anyway, that handkerchief the lady gave me, it looks freshly made, but the craftsmanship shines through every stitch and detail. Seeing this just makes me even angrier. How could I have not found talent like this before? Tough luck. Jaemin, I hate how jealous I am, but one day I will make you so mad you will explode. Back to Hindeget's room, her words stunned Jaemin. Then I will make my request. Would you mind taking off your clothes? Hindeget raised her big, bright eyes and stared right at him. Jaemin instantly blushed deeply, awkwardly asking, why? Thanks for watching today's video. Our story keeps going with plenty of exciting twists ahead, so do not forget to like and subscribe to support us and catch the latest episodes.